the best knowledge to acquire is to understand that there is an unseen force coming from the lower astral realm or the spirit world that is trying to sabotage your life. And it loves to bring any type of drama or chaos into your life to keep your frequency low or as low as possible. And you will be at a low frequency if you cannot recognize the patterns, if you can't identify what's going on, if you remain confused as to what is actually happening, if you just ignore what's going on and make up an excuse for what's actually happening. And so, yeah, these entities, these energy vampires, okay, they go by different names: pendulums, egregores, reptilians, shadow beings, okay, mantis beings, you know, and there's larvae and insect like beings, insectoids, and whatever else. And so all of these beings basically work together from the lower astral realm to energy vampire a person's auric field, basically. So they latch on, and once they latch onto your auric field, or at least once one latches on, you probably could be carrying many, many more once one latches on, and then the rest find that one, and then they all start ganging up on you. You could have a gang of them on your auric field and don't even know it. I believe that's what happened to me. But yeah, like if you notice that, you just can't escape certain feelings, or you keep getting caught up in situations that cause you to keep having the same emotional reaction to the circumstance that's being dealt, and you just can't seem to find your way out, or when you do find your way out and find peace, it seems that the situation that you just escaped keeps coming back and trying to find you. That's a lower astral realm entity, psychic attack, entity attack, energy vampirism at work, okay? And it's just what's been going on for a long time. And so if you're experiencing a lot of drama in your life, a lot of chaos, and you've been doing the work or you've been trying to escape it, but you just can't seem to fully get away, you've got some entity attachments, you've got some energy vampires within your auric field, and possibly in your family and friends auric field that is keeping you in a loop on purpose. Okay, and as long as you stay ignorant, or you just try to ignore it, or you drink beer to, forget about it or whatever, then you're never going to recognize what's going on, and you're going to get trapped. You're going to stay trapped, basically. So, um, that's one thing that I recognized is, during my life experience so far, I noticed over the last decade that it got harder and harder to try to get away from certain dramas in my life. And they kept playing out again over and over in this weird loop that I just couldn't seem to escape mentally and emotionally. And then it wasn't until I started to do the work, the inner work within my consciousness and within the energy of my being, or so you could call it spiritual work. That's what some people call it. But I couldn't identify things until I started doing that work. But these entities love to bring drama into your life. Okay? They are low vibrational parasites that feed off of low vibrational energy and manipulation of your consciousness. And the more confused you are, and the more you can't figure things out, and the more you keep feeding the same loop of low vibrational emotions and, thinking within your consciousness, that's, how they keep you trapped, and how they just can energy vampire you for decades. Okay, you could have these things for a couple of decades or longer, and you don't even know it. And I mean, drama is the name of the game for these beings. Like they can cause you to forget things. Um, like they could cause you to just stumble upon something that causes a bunch of chaos in your life, or you stumble across some people, or you know a situation happens and it leads to a misunderstanding with some other people, and then a fight breaks out, or some drama happens, or something escalates and the police comes and gets called, like, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. That's all entity attachments and entity drama and energy vampirism at work. from the lower astral realm, the fourth dimension. That's the fourth dimension at work right there. And only those that, have their third eye open and can spiritually recognize these things, like, they're the ones that can do the work to get away from that. That's the only way that you can do it, is to raise your vibration, to raise your consciousness, to live your life from a raised state of consciousness and energy and frequency, because otherwise you're just going to be extremely susceptible. Once you remove the veil from your consciousness, then you can see what's going on, and you can even see these entities rising through people to create drama, conflict, bullshit, fear, anger, low vibrational energy. They're trying to get you to generate it, so they can feed and so they can dominate and control and manipulate. Some of these beings have existed for a long time. Some of these entities are ancient, very ancient, and they're powerful psychically, energetically, and otherwise. They can travel to and from different dimensions, not just the fourth dimension, but whatever else is on that level of frequency that they can access. And if they can access you, then they're going to manipulate the hell out of you. And there's nothing you can do about it. You could be hijacked and body snatched in real time and you don't even know it. And you start doing stuff, you start craving things, one thought leads to another, and you don't even know what happened after that. And, some years go by and you wonder why you made some of the decisions that you made and why your life went chaotic and why you messed things up or whatever happened, why your marriage went down, why you lost your girlfriend, why your car keeps breaking down, why you keep having these suspicious thoughts, you feel like you're turning schizophrenic or you're constantly paranoid about things. Like, you got to take a look in the mirror and you got to realize that there's a bigger game at play here. Okay, drama is the name of the game. Energy vampirism is the name of the game. And if you don't recognize it, you get dominated by these beings. Okay? And that's basically it. You get dominated by these beings if you can't recognize what's going on. Real talk. And so, with that said, that's all I got to say for now. But I hope you get something out of this. This is a real phenomenon and a real thing that happens to people every day. These beings are traveling to and from the fourth dimension through portals and whatever else. I do believe that they have some type of technology within the fourth dimension that helps aid them in their energy vampirism of people. And I mean, there's whole entities over, entire concept structures like religion, politics, science, everything. There's different groups, or you could call it group clusters, of individuals that, are focused on a certain belief here on the earth. And, you can see that in like a football stadium or a basketball game or stuff like that, a big get together, a wrestling event, WWE, stuff like that. There are entities over all of that. And when groups of people plug in and share a belief, together as a big collective, a large number, then these entities come in and they feed off of that and they keep that structure going. Okay. And it becomes harder to disconnect from that. And in a way, it's like it's just part of the game of duality. But if you don't want to play that game, the only other way to go is to wake up, raise your vibration. But anyways, yeah. One of the pattern recognitions that you can start to recognize is drama. If you're constantly experiencing drama in your life, but you can't get away from it, you got an entity attachment, or you got some ancient being that, tapped into your energy and doesn't want to let you go. The only way you can get it to let you go is to do the inner work. That's your choice, though. But anyways, to the next one.